because Colorado water law is a you know, it has some dilemmas in it as well. But no, you need to fine tune this, not overturn it. Colorado is an arid state, but remarkably we produce, you know, provide water for most of the Southwest because of the roughly 10 million acre feet of water that comes out of our mountains. About 9/10 of that through the interstate compacts goes to the other states, and the 10th we've got left, we have to very carefully look after and ensure that the water rights that are in place are maintained. Another problem we've had recently is down on the South Platte. This is an area where farms have been dried up because of wells that have been shut down, and I was quite focused on, and we got some success in getting some studies put in place that might provide some solutions. But to overturn this overnight would be like anarchy, and not a good idea at all.
Okay, let me ask you a real quick, more simple question. Do you believe that whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting?
Well, that's the philosophy here in Colorado.
Okay.
Not at your breakfast.
6:30
is just too early now.
Two more questions, and then we'll move on to closing statement because the moderator has to get to work. Would you vote for bailouts like GM and the banks, and how would you frame legislation to protect investors from Wall Street excesses?
No to the bailouts. We have a bankruptcy system that is, it's kind of like water law. It's like trying to reinvent it on the fly. Oh, we've got a problem here, so we're going to go try to fix this another way. And what do we end up with? We end up with a GM that's not General Motors, it's government motors. And we end up with Chrysler that's owned by, Fiat, that is now contemplating building their plants in Russia. I'm sorry, but the system can work better if the government gets out of private business rather than tries to take over private business. That's called socialism. Classic economic definition of socialism is government ownership of the means of production. And that's what these bailouts end up doing, either overtly or covertly, by simply controlling all the strings. Dangerous government policy, the exact opposite of what I believe is good government policy. I'll go back to my original opening statement about the constitutional limitations on Congress and the administration need to be followed, and bailouts don't.
Part of freedom is a free market, and part of a free market is a freedom to fail. And when a business fails, it needs to fail. Those resources need to move in the parts of the economy where they'll be more productive. Now, we have legal ways of restructuring. We have bankruptcy laws, and actually bankruptcy is something that's specifically authorized in the Constitution, the bankruptcy law. But to take taxpayer dollars and choose a business and give capital to them, that's not appropriate. Further, to do what the administration did, with Congressman Polis' support, and bully certain investors to subordinating their position to other more politically favored groups is a terrible precedent. The next time somebody wants to invest on a private basis in a company, say an auto company with a lot of union members, they're going to be thinking, wait a minute, if I make this investment and it doesn't work out, is the president going to come down and make me give up my claims, my legal rights? So I do not favor any kind of bailouts. I think it's completely inappropriate. If you look at the bailouts of AIG, the first bailout was $85 billion. A lot of that went not to AIG, but to counterparties. Went to Goldman Sachs, went to foreign banks who were counterparties with AIG. You know, I oppose all of these kinds of things. I don't object to a business going under, because that's part of renewable businesses that create and grow, and others that fail. or reorganize under the bankruptcy laws. Our free market provides its protections, and when government interferes with it, that's when things go really awry. You know, one of the things that went awry in the financial crisis was this dependence on ratings, on bond ratings, and these derivative-based bonds were rated highly by the rating agencies. Now, why do the rating agencies have all this power? Because federal law provided that a lot of investors had to invest in a bond rated by one of these three. So you took the investment decision-making away from those with money to lose and gave it to government-designated rating agencies. And anytime you do that sort of thing, you end up distorting the market and creating excesses and creating moral hazard and creating the opportunity for problems to arise.
Could I have a word?
Sure.
I wonder if anyone in this room is without the knowledge that Wall Street is criminal capital. Goldman Sachs last year paid a fine of $500 million for illegal activities. And if anyone was in business and things were so bad, they would be out of business. But in Wall Street, they buy their way out. The Attorney General says, we have evidence of illegal activity. If you pay the fine, we'll drop the charges. Well, obviously, they pay the fine. But the public should know that. But they don't. They don't know how good ExxonMobil is. In 1912, Congress made them go out of business.
Go ahead,
Jack,
finish
we're on
up.
a limited time frame. We'll talk, okay? You and I.
Yeah. Thank you for the point, though. Good
You
point.
did the point.
Yes. Okay, if elected, who would you support for Speaker of the House? Last question.
I would not expect that in the 2013 session that there will be a candidate for Speaker other than Speaker Boehner. I think that something I appreciate about Speaker Boehner is that he has given party members more free rein than traditional speakers, more than Gingrich, more than Hastert, way more than Pelosi, to run their own bills and to vote their own consciousness. And maybe that's why Republicans look a little less organized. He also has shortened the in Washington time from 5 days under the Democrats to 3.5 days per week. And that's a good thing, because that means your representatives are back in Colorado listening to you. So I think those are things that he's done. My political philosophy aligns better with Leader Cantor, and I would, I certainly would be excited about a Cantor speakership. I don't expect that there will be a contested speakership election, though. I'm pretty confident that Speaker Boehner, assuming we keep the House, and that's never assured, but I fully expect that Speaker Boehner would be reelected as a speaker.
I would agree with Eric that the probability of an immediate decision is fairly slim. But I never say never within the political arena, and I've been involved in a lot of discussions at the state level for the leadership positions both in the House and the Senate, and I recognize there are a lot of fine inside ball nuances to this, but the bottom line is you've got to have a leader who understands what the end goal is, and that's not to live in a nice, comfortable setting where you can, play golf with the right people in Washington D.C. I'm looking into long ago speakerships, making my observation there. I want somebody who's going to lead our nation in the right direction. And when that question does come up, because it will eventually, Speaker Boehner will not be there forever. There will be a change at some point. The question that we're going to have to ask is who is leading the right direction, not just who's the good old boy that we want to put in place. I've been a little bit of a radical when it comes to leadership positions within the Colorado legislature in this sense, that I'm trying to find the best leadership for good government, not the best leadership for just smooth operations. And so that's what I've been looking for, whatever the choice goes.
All right, move on to closing statement.